In this video, we're going to talk about why you might not want to come or move to Southwest Florida. Welcome everyone, I'm Mark, this is the Average Me channel, and today you're joining me on beautiful South Beach on Marco Island. Marco Island and I grouped Naples together. It's the area I live is about as far south as you're probably going to want to go on the Gulf Coast of Florida. You can go a little further, but this is really as far south as you're going to get and still have a main population area. There is Everglades City a little further south, but beyond that, you're into the wild Everglades, and then before long, you are kind of turning over to Miami. So this is pretty much it. It's a beautiful part of the country, as you can see. But sometimes people ask me, Mark, you're always bragging up Southwest Florida. Are there any negatives? And yeah, there's a few, not too many, but you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So let's talk about some of those things that might want to keep you away. Right now, as I'm making this, it is the middle of September, which means that we are still in the rainy season and the hurricane season. So one of the things that you should realize is during the rainy season, it's named that for a reason. It does rain just about every afternoon. And boy, when it rains, it really comes down. I mean, there are thunderstorms and that rain comes down hard. But the funny thing is, it can be in real isolated areas. You know, you could get the rain in one spot and then a mile away, a different neighborhood, could be bone dry. But when it comes down, it really comes down. And just about every single day. As a matter of fact, let's look right now, because even though it's a beautiful day right now, there's lots of clouds, and I wouldn't doubt if before too long, these clouds are going to start raining on us. So you can see, although it's a really nice day here in Florida, it is a cloudy day. And those clouds may very well start raining before too long. And as long as we're talking about the weather, it can get hot. Right now, I would say I think it was 91 degrees when I got out of my car, and it can be very humid. But it doesn't feel too bad right now. I'm very comfortable. I'm walking along the beach. I'm wearing, you know, a light short sleeve shirt, a pair of khaki shorts, and very comfortable. I generally always wear a big hat to keep the sun off me. But you know what they say, it's not the heat, it's the humidity, and that is so true. It can get so humid, and that can be really uncomfortable for people. So if you get too hot, there's always the pool, or of course, the beach. So I have a friend that thinks all we do is run from the air-conditioned building to the air-conditioned car, back to the air-conditioned building, and that isn't true. We spend a lot of time outside during the summer, but be aware, if heat is something that bothers you, it does get very hot. In fact, just yesterday, oh, this is funny. Look at this. I'm going to show you this this big vine that's growing out onto the beach. Will you look at this thing? Isn't that funny? Now, they are not allowed to pass over this dune area. So you'll see that all of these condos and all these hotels, they have bridges that cross over them. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't think they can continue to let this grow, but I don't know, it's planting itself right into the beach. So we'll see what happens. They do have a machine that comes along here every morning, and it cleans up the sand and the shells and everything else. So maybe it'll take this up, who knows. While we're talking about seasons, what about our seasonal visitors? Well, there are typically two groups of seasonal visitors. One are the vacationers. And occasionally we get vacationers that come down all year round. Even in July, August, September when it's very hot. I don't know if all the people here live here or if they are visitors, but we're coming up to the big Marriott Hotel here, and would imagine most of the people there are visitors, right? They have conventions and things. But the other group of people are the snowbirds. I think you're probably familiar with that term. If not, a snowbird is someone that lives here during the winter months, and they live somewhere up north during the summer months. So they get away from the heat and humidity during the summer, and they get away from the cold and snow during the winter. But that means a combination of those two groups of people it makes it get really busy here. So when we talk about the season or being in season, we're talking about that winter season when there are so many people here. And you know, it's good and bad, because I'll tell you what, this is a tourist area. And when you live in a tourist area, you have to realize there are tourist dollars that come in. But on the other hand, it's hard to get anything, like to get to restaurants and such. Traffic is terrible. We only have one interstate going north and south, and that is I-75, and it gets really, really busy. You know, sometimes to a crawl and a standstill. And I know it sounds like, well, just one. Well, nevertheless, if that's the only way you have to travel, just as bad as any other city, right? And it's not just that main highway, but all of the roads, all the main roads get really super busy during the season. You can't get into restaurants, stores, just everything gets really super crowded. And as long as we're talking about restaurants and such, it's kind of funny down here, because the demographics are really strange. This is an extremely wealthy area. The average income, household income, is about $250,000, about $250, $260, something like that, $1,000. And as such, if you have a Naples address like I do, everything's really expensive. People just assume that you're a millionaire. And so, you know, service from, you know, service people, plumbers, electricians, remodeling, it all gets really, really expensive. And the other thing is the demographics age-wise is very old down here. The median age in Naples is 65 years old. 65. That means half the people are older than that. And as a result, you find that the city rolls up its sidewalks like at 8 o'clock at night. Most restaurants stop serving at like 8 or certainly 9 o'clock. So if you're younger or young at heart and you are looking to party, I would say go to the other side of the state, Miami and Lauderdale, and those areas are more conducive to the beach party environment. This area here is more of a relaxing atmosphere, comfortable, wealthy. See some beautiful cars here. You know, it's not uncommon to see on a daily basis Bentleys and Lamborghinis, and you know, if you're driving a Corvette or a Cadillac, you're slumming it. Let's take a look at the beach here. So right now, it's not quite in season yet, and you can see all of these colored umbrellas, I believe, belong to the hotels. Because as we look down at the other end, this is the south end, those are more private condos down there, and you don't see so much of this. I enjoy it because in the off season, man, you get to take advantage of all these wonderful restaurants that are really designed for the tourist trade. So they're wonderfully unique, and you have restaurants where you're looking out over the beach, and really they're not all that expensive. I mean, you know, you can get a sandwich plate in like the $17, $18 range. So it really is not unpleasant at all. But man, these clouds look like they're getting dark. Look at those clouds. Now let's talk about the wildlife. Alligators, snakes, turtles, lizards. Well, lizards are everywhere. You know, the tiny little gecko lizards. They don't annoy me too much. I don't think I've ever had one get into my house. I find them kind of interesting. I don't know. They're fun to watch, and they run all over the place. They're not very annoying. Gators, they're, you know, I've seen people or heard from people who live in Florida their whole life, and they say they hardly ever see a wild gator. In my community, I see them all the time, but they're not a nuisance. They don't bother you. So I don't, they're not a bother to me, but some people, they're kind of scared of them. And I will say, gators don't really want anything to do with people. Keep your distance, they're fun to watch. And you know I love them. If you watch this channel, I've done my share of alligator videos. But they are here. Snakes? Yeah, they're here. I've only seen one. I've been here a year and a half. I've only seen one snake on my property. Now my wife has seen snakes a couple more times, but they're not so abundant and so plentiful that they're going to be a problem. I don't think so anyway. It's not been my experience. And other than that, insects, bugs, yeah, I have to comp to that. There are a lot of them. We have a service that comes by every 2 months, sprays around the perimeter of our house, pretty much keeps down that bug population. Every now and then they'll be in the house. Not too bad. The worst thing, there's these tiny little ants. We call them crazy ants. They're small, really, really super small. You can barely, if they don't move, you can barely see them. And they can be a bit of a nuisance if they get in the house. You know, put out ant traps and it takes care of them. But yeah, you know, they're not harmful to people or anything, but they can be annoying. So I would say, yeah, that would probably be the biggest truth that you may hear. Splitting rumor from truth. Yep, there are a lot of bugs down here. Lots of activities out here. You can see the jet skis, paddle boarding out there, way in the distance. You can see parasailing. There's a guy fishing, up to his waist fishing. And of course, just swimming, getting a tan, and simply hanging out. Now, do you find any of these things to be an overwhelming negative? The heat, the humidity, the wildlife, the crowds? If you do, it might not be the place for you. But I'll tell you, the trade-off, I think, is magnificent. The weather, for the most part, is beautiful. We have the beaches. If you're not near the beach, just about everybody has a pool. I don't have a pool, but I have pool privileges, and most of the neighbors that watch their houses during the off-season. And of course, access to the beaches, which is beautiful. Just my lanai in the evening, sipping a tropical cocktail. It all makes it worth it. These guys aren't too nervous around people. They're used to folks at the beach. So what do you think? Is Florida living in far southwest Florida for you? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe by clicking my face in the corner. And don't forget to ring that bell icon up above. That way you'll know when I post new videos. From South Beach in Marco Island, I'm Mark, and this is the Average Me Channel.